Snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, you want one quick question?
We can't ask Rashad question.
Hey, Rashad.
The Atlanta Dream. So here's the Atlanta Dream update. I went to the Atlanta Dream press conference, opening presser for Karl Smesko earlier this week, things of that sort. Rhyne Howard was there, and it was funny. I spoke about the back and forth I had with a subscriber on the Rhyne video. Your thoughts on Rhyne Howard were kind of ignorant and very ill-informed. Not surprised, though. You barely even pay attention to their games. So not surprised. It's her team, whether you like it, the 2 times you pay attention per season or not. So I told the person, I don't believe, like, I just don't think you're telling the truth. Like, I don't know if you can say I only pay attention to 2 games a year when I post on my channel mad press conferences from in person of being at the games, at the Dream games. Regardless, that was that. The thing that I said, so I saw Ryan and I said, "Yo, Ryan, your people got on me on the internet." She said, "What you say?" And I said, "Well, I looked at her. I said, obviously, we all know that Rhyne Howard is one of the more talented players in the world." She looked at me with a straight face. Get to the point. I said, "But you know, what is it gonna take for her to get to that on me and that level?" And then I told her, and then they were in the comments like, "Don't talk about Ryan like that." She just kind of laughed and and then she got who she was walking to get, and then they kind of walked away and stuff like that. She just kind of laughed at me like, "Oh, whatever, dude." And also kind of like, I guess, happy that she had people defending her online. So that was the interaction with Ryan. And I also say that to say, to go back to the Bima Lil Yachty thing, and that's way off topic and stuff like that. But like, if you're gonna say something about people and stuff like that, if you're gonna critique people, keep it at their craft, which I think Bima did with Lil Yachty, but that's what I did with Rhyne Howard. And also, don't say nothing that you won't say to the person's face. I learned that probably, I don't know, at some point, maybe early adulthood, late teens and stuff like that. Don't say something to somebody about somebody that you wouldn't say to their face, because at that point it's gossip. And gossip, that ain't even right. You know what I'm saying? Not only is it lame, it's just not right. You're not supposed to be gossiping. So everything I say, I stand on, which goes back to the whole Kendrick situation. If you're going to say something about somebody, bro, stand on it, bro. So many people be so scared and wanting to be liked by everybody. Everybody ain't going to like you. So if they ain't going to like you anyway, why sugarcoat the truth? Say what you have to say, stand on it, stand 10 toes, and say it to the people's face. If you can't say it to the people's face, maybe you should keep it to yourself. Maybe you're too scared to say anything at all. Then don't say nothing. Be quiet. Be a fan. But yeah, that's that. So that was the first thing. Second thing, Karl Smesko, obviously Smesko, he was talking about like kind of pushing the tempo, everything like that, shooting threes and things of that sort. And they asked him about defense. He said, defense is very important to me. You can watch the press conference up here on the channel. Go back a couple videos and see that. He was talking about that. And, so it'd just be very interesting to see what that dynamic looks like. Like my brother said, Hunter Cruz, like he said, the makeup of the team. It's the makeup of the team. Are they going to get more 3-point shooters? Because the Dream aren't necessarily just marksman 3-point shooters. There's a lot of slashers. Like Alicia Gray, like she can shoot the ball, but she can also drive. Rhyne Howard can shoot the ball, but she can also drive. Jordan Canada can shoot the ball, but she also can drive. So when you have all these slashers with 2 posts, like a Nas Hillman, she's a post. She stretched out her game to the 3 to keep herself in the league and everything, and keep herself relevant. That's great on Nas and great self-awareness. But, you have someone like a Tina Charles or a Cheyenne Parker who are also post-up players. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of clogs the lane, and the entire offense is kind of like pass the ball 2 times. Someone drives, they kick it out. Someone drives, they kick it out. And everybody's just kind of clogged inside the paint, and there's no type of spacing. Karl Smesko is going to space it out and bring a more fluid offense. But with that, you kind of need the makeup and the players to kind of to reflect that, right? So you need the 3-point shooters and everything like that across the perimeter, so you can go 5 out or you can go 4 out with four, with the fifth one on the elbow or something like that. And that's what it looks like that they're going with and what they're about to do with the new tempo and everything like that. So it'll be interesting to see who stays, who leaves. Nia Coffey was at the press conference. Nia Coffey is like everywhere, bro. She is definitely involved with the Atlanta community in the off seasons, the past couple off seasons, and I appreciate that. And Leash was there too. Like Leash is just cool as always, cool as the other side of the pillow. So, yeah. It'll be very interesting to see how the Dream move forward. If the players from Australia that they drafted last season come over, Dan was asked about that. Dan Padover, the general manager of the Dream, he still didn't quite give just a straight up answer about it. He's kind of said like we'll see how they play this season in the NBL and see if we want to bring them over after the season. He was like, "Oh, well, how did they do last season?" He's like, "Well, their season's right now during the NBA season." He's like, "Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, cool." He said, "We're just keeping an eye on it, and then we'll go from there." So now we go to after the presser. I speak to some people affiliated with the organization about things that we were speaking about during the season, and that was about facilities. Now, as you guys have seen, the Phoenix Mercury have been just promoting all season. You know what I'm saying, recruiting free agents. The Natasha Clouds and who's Kyle Copper, you know what I'm saying, that they're all like, just on Instagram and stuff like that. Like, look at our facilities, look at our locker rooms, look at our buildings, look at our basketball courts, look at our basketballs that we work out with, everything like that to really entice people. Oh man, did I even speak about the Jewel Lloyd thing? Anyways, we'll get back to that. So that was that, right? With the Dream, because the Dream don't have their own facility right now. Right now, for the past few years, they've been practicing at the Four Core, which is Paul Millsap's facility out there on the east side and stuff like that. And so here we go. Here's the update, latest update. I say all that to say this. The Atlanta Dream, a member of the Atlanta Dream told me that right now the first priority is practice facility. Practice facility is the first priority to build their own practice facility. They've come so far from where they've already been. They used to practice at the Epicenter, which is the church. Word of Faith, the same thing, the same building and the same facility over there by Six Flags and Austell, owned by the owners of Word of Faith, Bishop Dale C. Bronner. They used to practice at the Epicenter, bro, which is like kind of like a rec center inside of a church, of a church-owned building type deal across the street from the church. They moved on from that, with the core four facilities and stuff like that, but they're still kind of renting it out, leasing. They don't have their own practice facility. So the first thing is to get a practice facility. Now they said they're in the walking stages. So they broke it down to me like this. You know how they say you got to crawl to walk? Right now they're in the walking stages of getting a new home, a new arena for the Atlanta Dream. So where is that going to be? Earlier, a few months ago, when we had this exact same conversation, the idea of what it sounded like for the Dream, what they were going to do was build their own home. They were looking throughout the metro Atlanta area, and they were going to build their own stadium, their own arena. Right now on the south side over there at Gateway Arena by the airport and stuff like that, that capacity is only like 3,000, 3,500, at the most, if you really, really pack that thing in. Not enough when you got 18,000 people coming in wanting to see Caitlin Clark, probably 15,000 wanting to come in to see Angel Reese, and 17,000 wanting to come in to see Asia Wilson. That's not enough, right? So they all solidified that. They said we're looking for a place where we can build in Atlanta our own arena, our own place to call home. Now it's not sounding like that. Now it's sounding like they are leaning and they want to really go back to State Farm Arena. That's where they used to be. They used to be at what used to be called Phillips Arena. That's where the Dream started. And then now it sounds like they want to go back to State Farm Arena full time and call their new home as the Atlanta Dream. Now, right now, next season, they're still under contract at Gateway, so they still have to play on the south side. They're looking to play more games at State Farm Arena. So last season, they played 2 with the Indiana Fever, where Caitlin Clark came in both times. Both games had over 17,000 people. The second game set the record for the most people in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, for a women's basketball game. Now, that was that. This season, they said, we want to do about 4 games in the State Farm Arena. We want to do 5, 6 games in the State Farm Arena. Now, when you think that, automatically what comes to your head? If the Aces come to town twice a season, that's 4 games a season. And if the Chicago Sky come twice a season, that's 6 games a season. Those 6 games will probably, at least 4 or 5 of them will be in State Farm Arena next season. That's what it sounds like they're leaning towards. And it sounds like in a couple of years, if all goes the way that they plan to, they'll be moving to State Farm Arena. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because just a few months ago, I had this exact same conversation with the same people affiliated with the organization, and they said we're going to build our own arena from the ground up somewhere, some way around the country. So that's what's going on with the Atlanta Dream. That's the future of the Dream, and that's kind of the report, the update that I got. I was kind of like the most, I feel like, valuable thing that I got from that entire day and stuff like that. I met Coach Karl. He said, "Call me Karl." I don't really like calling coaches like their first name. It just feels weird to me. Like, I always just say coach. And even if I say their first name, like if it's like Coach Karl, I'd rather say that than, Karl. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not co-workers, we working beside each other. We're not co-workers. So he was a cool dude, though. He was a cool dude. Wife was cool too, everything like that. She's smart. She working at the school, stuff like that up in Michigan. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see who is on the Dream opening day next season. I think it's going to be a real different roster. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle their last couple years in Gateway. I'm not sure how long that, contract is for them to play at Gateway, but, their last few years over there on the South Side before they move back into a larger arena. Now, the capacity at State Farm is, I think, like 17,000. It used to be 20,000 when I was a kid. But they took out a lot of sections and a lot of seats to put in amenities in the place. So, like, the renovated State Farm has the Killer Mike swag shop. It has the VIP, like, kind of lounge behind the basket. So it's like a club. It's like a VIP club and stuff like that behind one of the baskets on the floor. And so all of those kind of little sections and things like that. I think there might even be a Topgolf facility in there. They said that, but I never been in there since they kind of renovated the place. All of that stuff took up places, so the capacity there is like 17,000, 18,000 maybe. And but that'll be a huge difference, especially with the growth of the W. You guys see what's happening. And it's not going to slow up anytime soon with Special K on the horizon, Kalina over there in high school. It's not going to slow up anytime with Flajay coming into the league. It's not going to slow up anytime soon with Paige Beckers coming into the league. And it's definitely not going to slow up when Juju Watkins gets in the league. So there's that. Speaking of Flajay,
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Brandon,
We
you want one quick
can't
question?
ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.